Alright, just started my stream here, waiting for YouTube to show it going live, and it's coming online right now. And let's see, 3, 2, 1, swirling live, sweet. Welcome to live stream number 14 of my writing series, Write With Me, live streaming writing sessions. Today I'm going to be working on chapter 28 of Golden Dusk at Makena. This is my third book in the Maui Desire Series. This book is about a woman named Dana and a man named Nolan. She's running a conference, he's the videographer, and without each other, she can't get her funding for her company, and he has no work to do, and he needs this work. So, sparks fly? Yes. So chapter 28, though, things are going really sideways at this point. The main character, Dana, she had a conversation with the matriarch of the event, Olivia, and things are getting darker. So chapter 28 is all about things going deteriorating because in the end there's a clock pressure of Dana goes home, Nolan goes home, and is there no love? Stay tuned. All right, hi Nancy, good to see you. Thank you very much for stopping by. Alrighty, check the live stream here. Let me get all set up and we'll get dictating here because I've got a lot to do. My goal is to knock out 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Ooh, 5 chapters today. Oh boy. It's going to be a long day, that's for sure. Let me check the stream health, make sure it looks stream's healthy, analytics. Awesome. Okay, let's get it done. Conference enters its full day. Final full day. Dana throws herself into work. Evening, everything's okay. Alrighty, let me just double check the outline to make sure I'm dictating the right chapter because that's always fun. Chapter 8 and then 29. Yes, this is leading to the darkest night. This is the setup for getting to the darkest night. Okay, here we go. And I just used the voice app on iOS. On the iPad here, just good old voice memos. Ultra low tech, it totally works. Yep. As you can see, just the voice memo app there. Of course, I've got my cables hooked up and my microphone, and got my lavalier on me so you can hear me, but then I've got my headset that goes into the recording. So I'm going to start the recording, and then you can see, as I'm talking, my voice comes up on there, and then when the recording's done, I just copy the transcript out of the voice app and start editing it. It's not as exciting as it sounds, but this is the life of a working author. I've written 46, 7, 8 books as Aaron R. Linsdau, so let's get it going. Let's see, everyone Dana throws, okay. Chapter 28, Dana begins emotionally withdrawing. As the conference continues to buzz around the event center at the Grand Wailea Hotel, people feel the enjoyment and the energy, but they also feel the end nearing. As Dana walked around and she talked with people, they seemed happy but also somewhat sad. There was that happy sadness that permeated the environment of the conference center because in the end they knew that tomorrow they would all be going home, or at least the people who had to get back to work. Some of the event center folks actually arranged to stay several more days because they said, why not? The Grand Wailea is a spectacular hotel and they should continue. One man asked Dana, do you think you're going to be able to stay a couple more days? I mean, this program is so good. I mean, we would actually kind of prefer that this go on, and maybe you can mentor us, he started to ask. And Dana looked at him, easily 10 years her senior, and thought for a moment, said, mentoring, you know, that actually sounds like an interesting thing. We can think about putting together a program. And in her mind, Dana wasn't thinking about the mentoring program at all. She was thinking about Nolan, about how she might spend more time with him, but she knew the siren call of getting back with Lucy, her business partner and the CEO, to continue their business and hopefully have funding That was foremost on her mind, and that was the problem. After a moment of staring off into space, the man asked Dana, "Is everything okay?" And she snapped back into focus and looked at him with wide eyes and said, "Oh my gosh, yes, I'm so sorry. I would love to do that. Let me talk with the organizers. I've got several days at the hotel I might be able to add, and we'll work on it, okay?" The man smiled at her, tilting his head slightly sideways, and she said, no, I'm just fine. Not enough coffee, late nights, and working on this huge documentary." Just then she looked over and she saw Nolan walking towards her, doing some filming work of their interaction, and at once her shoulders lowered, but her face tightened a bit and said, "Oh, thank you. Nolan, can you meet Scott here?" "Yes." "Oh, Nolan, thank you so much for doing this. I'm excited to see what your documentary of this event looks like." Nolan stepped up and gave the man a hearty handshake, and they pumped several times. And Nolan stood back and said, "Absolutely, it's going to be great. Lots of people are featured in here, so definitely look for yourself. If you'll excuse us for a moment," Dana said. They walked apart a bit and naturally drifted together, and Nolan said, "How's it going? You seem really off." Dana looked around and said, "Hey, let's go outside for a moment, would you? Everything seems to be moving along fine. Do you need to do any more filming for the moment?" He shook his head. "No, not at all. Let's cruise outside." In 10 minutes, they found themselves out on the grass walk in front of the hotel. No, they found themselves on the vibrant green grass walk of the hotel, shaded by palm trees swishing back and forth in the afternoon trade winds. As the cloudburst had passed earlier, and Dana explained how she got soaked, and she enjoyed every minute of it. Nolan looked at her and said, "Oh, wow, you got one of the tropical rainstorm experiences?" She said, "Yeah, it was the strangest thing ever. I just stood there, it rained, but I was still in the sun. Back in New York, that never happens." And she stretched out the words, thinking about New York and how Nolan standing in front of her made her giddy, and yet she felt sad. She looked around to make sure no one was around. She said, "Can you just hold me for a minute?" Nolan, of course, he set his tripod down immediately and reached in and gave Dana a long hug, holding her and rubbing her shoulders. And he could hear her sighing once and twice, and he pulled back to make sure she wasn't crying. She wasn't, and she said, "Oh, no, I'm not crying. It's just, time's ticking along here." Nolan breathed in, sighed, and then stood back and reached down and grabbed her hands, his rough work hands holding her manicured, cherry red nail hands, and he gently rubbed her forearms and said, "I know, I've been thinking a lot about that. I mean, this has been incredible." He reached in, leaned into her, and gave her a gentle, probing kiss, pecking at her lip, pulling at it, like he didn't want to let go, and she fully felt it stretch away. Not so much that it hurt, but enough that he gave her a reminder that, at least for the moment, she was his. He pulled back and looked in her eyes, and then reached out and stroked her hair, pulling her long, dark brown hair down below her shoulder, and said, "You look great. I know this is a super battle on how to get everything done." And she looked at him and laughed. "Battle? I never imagined making a documentary to get funding to actually do this all by myself. It's just crazy." And just then a group of kids walked by, yelling and screaming, excited to be heading for the pool. They both stood there facing them, watching as the boys and girls between the ages of 5 and 12 trundled off with a bunch of pool toys and the sound of chaos wandering through the otherwise serene landscape. The sound of waves crashing at the distance floated into them. The surf was down so it wasn't too loud, and the gentle breeze ruffled Dana's hair. It pulled it around into her face, and Nolan reached out, grabbed it on her cheek, and slowly draped it behind her ear. She looked down, sad, and said, what are we going to do? I mean, this has been incredible, and I feel like this change has come over me. This isn't just like, oh, hey, I've got some conference notes, and I'm going to go update our webpage. You and me, and then this change with Olivia and the funding, I'm struggling. He looked at her, brushing the back of his hand against her cheek as she closed her eyes, feeling the warmth of his hand caressing against her as he slowly drew it along her jaw and then left her chin. And he reached out and held her shoulders and said, we need time to figure this out. This has been honestly one of the best experiences of my life, and you actually got me from behind the camera when we saw that turtle. At that, Dana's eyes opened and sparkled, and she laughed, saying, oh my gosh, that turtle was incredible. I can't believe you would have just hidden behind the camera. And Nolan looked around at the landscape, the perfect manicured lawn, the fences, the people standing out and enjoying the sun, and said, honestly, that's where I've hidden my whole life. And truth be told, you bring something different out in me. It sounds kind of corny, but at that, Dana blushed, and she smiled, broadening her smile, showing her pearly white teeth, and she licked her lips and bit it and pulled it back in and let it go and said, dang, I want to talk to you all day, but I'm really starting to think about what's going to happen. She looked down at her watch and said, oh crap, hey, we got to get back in. I've got a talk I need to do shortly with a couple of investors. Are you going to stay out here, or? And he interrupted her. He interrupted her and said, no, absolutely not. I need to film this. Is it okay? I mean, I've been filming everything else. And she said, oh, heck yeah, let's go. So as they walked along the boardwalk, Nolan hustled his camera into his left arm and took Dana's hand into her right and clasped it like he belonged there. She didn't even flinch. She just gently smiled as they walked along. Nolan saw that she had sadness in her eyes, and he knew why. He was downtrodden. The things were going well. His documentary, the client's going to be super happy, but that was the problem. As they walked into the event center, they saw the hustle and bustle as though they'd never left. Dana excused himself for a moment and said, okay, let me find where those guys are and I'll text you. I'll be right back. Nolan stood there watching her leave, and he too scanned the massive event space, the LED lighting overhead, the electronics displays, and people running back and forth, trying to get in their last sales and connections as they did that, prepared to depart the next day. One or two companies were actually stacking up a couple of journals, and they weren't clearing out. Their contract said they couldn't, but they knew what was coming. The end of the day was coming, the documentary was coming, and the luau was coming in the evening. Boom. Done. Alrighty, let's see how we did. Word count. Ooh, how come this never sounds a word count in here? That would be very handy, you know. Skip silence, done. Okay, let's copy it. Copying. One moment, please, while I look up the word count. Sync now, sync later. All I need is the word count in a new document. Test chunk. All right, and let me copy this whole thing. Copy the transcript. And luau that evening. Ooh, the luau, yes. And we have 1,681 words in chapter 28. There you go. Let me make sure, go to my video display software. There we go. And there's the other contents of my book, 1,681 words dictated live for you. And this is dictation or writing session number 14, working on Golden Dusk at Makena. This is the third of the fourth book in this series. The first book, the Moonlight at Wailea, you can see the poster here, will be available on my website. You can download it for free. You just have to provide the email and join the mail list so you can enjoy getting updates when I release my next romance novel on aaronbelsing.com. Also, please check out my thriller and nonfiction site at aaronrlinsdau.com, where you can find out all the polar exploration I've done, all the knots and hiking guides that I can provide you, plus also the thrillers. And also explore my aaronbelsing.com website, where I have a resume. It's kind of embarrassing, but my resume, somebody suggested I write it as read books or read romance from the guy who your book boyfriend wishes he was. I read that, I was like, gosh, that's kind of cheeky. And then I thought, why not? What's to happen? Let's see, Melissa asked, how many minutes was that recording? That was 11 minutes and 33 seconds on the recording. So 11:33 recording, recording, and then 1,681 words. Not too shabby. Super fun. So I will be doing another live stream writing session soon. The Write With Me series, the live streams of me writing my different novels. And I'm working on the next one. The next one is a widower story based in Maui as well, on the Maui Desire Series. And at least for the moment, that'll finish it up. If there's good interest, I will continue this Maui series, because interestingly, I was reading an article on, gosh, I can't remember. Where's my phone? Oh, my phone's busy. An article today about how Maui has actually overtaken Paris as the most romantic destination in the world. Who knew? Yeah, that was kind of validation for writing a Maui romance series. How handy is that? But I am also going to write a Paris series as well, a Paris Desire series. And I'm going to expand this universe quite a bit. And stay tuned, because at the end of Golden Dusk at Makena, there's going to be a tie-in to the Paris series, a little bit of an Easter egg, a Brandon Sanderson, if you will. It'll be a nice little plug, so if you see it and you read the other books, you'll know, oh, that's right. Yeah, that's how I roll here. Thank you very much for watching on my live stream, and I will see you soon. Take care. Please like, comment, and subscribe.